Welcome to Bonnie Doon. CNN gets punked. Okay, Cambridge Analytica is all the rage in the news yesterday, today, and probably for the foreseeable near future. So what is it exactly? What is Cambridge Analytica? Well, Cambridge Analytica, LLC, is a privately held company that combines data mining, data brokerage, and data analysis with strategic communication for the electoral process. It was created in 2013 as an offshoot of its British parent company, SCL Group, to participate in American politics. In 2014, CA was involved in 44 U.S. political races. The company is partly owned by the family of Robert Mercer, an American hedge fund manager who supports many politically conservative causes. The firm maintains offices in London, New York City, and Washington, D.C. The Wall Street Journal calls the Cambridge Analytica deal a crisis, but it's really not a crisis. It's just everyday business in the 21st century. Facebook Incorporated's loose approach to policing how app creators and others deployed its user data persisted for years, including after a 2015 effort by the social network to restrict access, according to court documents and people familiar with Facebook. The social media giant is now dealing with the fallout. The Federal Trade Commission is investigating whether Facebook violated terms of a 2011 settlement when data of up to 50 million users was transferred to an analytics firm tied to President Donald Trump's campaign. A person familiar with the matter said on Tuesday, if the FTC finds that Facebook violated the settlement terms, the company could face millions of dollars in fines. And what the deal with this is that they made an agreement in 2011 that when you sign up for Facebook, you okay for them to use your data. But what they were doing was using your data to find your friends and then collect their data. But they did not agree to it as via the friend route. You can't research someone's data and all their friends. It was ruled that you can only do that one person. The web, the network of friends and how everyone is related to each other by being friends on Facebook was not allowed to be used. And I should like to point out that Facebook collects this data and then sells it and makes money, and this is part of their business practice. Early on, almost anyone could create a Facebook app and access a trove of data about the site's users. President Barack Obama's 2012 re-election campaign, for example, created a voter outreach app that found other potential supporters among its users' connections on Facebook by plugging directly into the company's platform. I distinctly remember this because the media were praising President Obama because they were so tech savvy. Boy, they were using the internet. They were using Facebook, and they were really squeezing the internet for every vote. They were really going to put a beating on John McCain and then Mitt Romney. So this has all happened before. Barack Obama's done the same thing. Hillary Clinton did the same thing, but she was a horrible candidate. And yet now it's a disaster. It's horrible. It's got to have something to do with the Russians, whether it actually does or not. And so it's terrible, and we have to exploit it for every ounce that we can. Don Lemon gets CNN punked by bringing on a confused, inarticulate witness of sorts to be on his show.
From Cambridge Analytica, whistleblower Christopher Wylie. In the interview you're about to watch, he tells me about his work at the company with close ties to the Trump campaign, a company now accused of using the private data of tens of millions of Facebook users to directly target potential American voters.
As we have seen that Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton have done in the past, they did the exact same thing with nary a ripple in the reporting of the mainstream media.
How closely tied to the Trump campaign is Cambridge Analytica? Well, the campaign hired the firm in June of 2016, and people at the highest levels and those closest to the president were involved in bringing the data company on board.
So let's make this look as bad as possible by creating a rogues gallery and making all these people look horrible.
Okay, pay close attention to this. The president's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, and Brad Pascal, the digital campaign director for President Trump, who is currently leading his re-election campaign, were both involved in the hiring.
So they were doing some preliminary research to see if it was feasible for Donald Trump to be elected the president of the United States of America.
Cambridge Analytica was run with the help of Steve Bannon. He was, of course, the Trump campaign CEO who went on to become chief White House strategist.
And we've got to make him look worst of all because he's been a villain from the very start. And we've really done a number on him. And he's talked bad about President Trump. And so he's a perfect foil to make the bad guy.
And whistleblower Christopher Wylie says Trump campaign manager Corey Lewandowski was meeting with Cambridge Analytica even before Trump announced his candidacy.
Wow, you mean that President Trump did research before he ran for president? That he had a plan? He didn't just roll out of bed one day and say, hey, let's run for president. I'll just go down the escalator and everything will take care of itself. No, he planned ahead because he planned on winning and he wanted to win and he won.
So you describe what you built as it's called psychological warfare, a psychological warfare weapon.
That's unedited. I didn't tinker with it at all. He just couldn't pronounce the word. It's pretty funny, actually.
Something you say Steve Bannon wanted, the ability to play with the psychology of an entire country. How did that work? Talk to us about that.
So here we go. He's saying that they wanted to play with a whole country, to mess with, manipulate a whole country. But all through this, they say 50 million, 50 million, 50 million Facebook users. And I hate to say there's 350 million Americans, so that's not even a majority of the United States. You can't win, even if they had every one of them turned into zombies, where they all voted for President Trump, he still wouldn't have won with just that.
Yeah, so Steve came to SCL because he believes in something called the Breitbart Doctrine, which is that in order to change politics, you first have to change culture because politics is downstream from culture.
I seem to remember that in the 2008 election that candidate Obama said we were only days away from fundamentally changing the United States of America. That's exactly what he meant. When by his election, he'll fundamentally change the United States of America. This is the same thing.
And in order to fight a culture war, you need an arsenal of information weapons. And who better to go to than a company like SCL, which is a military contractor based in the UK, to help set up those information weapons.
It's funny you say information weapons, but aren't they really information tools? I use tools all the time at work. And they're all tools, but some of them can also be used as weapons. A carpenter can use a hammer to kill you. He can also use it to do his work and support his family, and it's merely a tool.
So what we worked on at SCL and then later at Cambridge Analytica was data harvesting programs where we would pull data from users of apps and all of their friend networks and run that data through algorithms that could profile their personality traits and other psychological attributes so that we would know exactly what kind of information we would need to seed onto online platforms to exploit mental vulnerabilities that our algorithms show that they had.
So you find out the things that they like and they don't like, and then you can advertise to them to get them to buy things. That is called a business model.
This goes beyond just sort of programming advertisement toward a certain group, because you told us that you could tell something about people based on things like whether they liked Game of Thrones or country music. What could you tell?
I hate to have to put it this way, but if they like Game of Thrones and country music, they're white people.
Yeah, so I think it's easiest to think about when you go on a date, for example, and the questions that you ask on a date, right? You ask what kind of music do you like, what kind of movies do you watch, do you do any sports? We ask those questions because they reveal little bits about ourselves, about our personalities and who we are.
So you're doing research to find out how they're going to vote because you're trying to find out what they like, they don't like, what kind of person they are, and this is illegal because why?
Cambridge Analytica says none of this data pulled was used in services provided to the Trump campaign. Is that true, Christopher?
Well, let me be clear. I didn't work on the Trump campaign.
Punked.
Because that was the basis of your company, right? That's how your
Yeah.
company started. That was the foundation of your company.
There was no data before that point.
This is a data collection company, and if there is no data, there is no company. It didn't exist. Sorry.
So we went from no data to harvesting all of this data off of Facebook and then combining it with all this the consumer data sets and voter data sets.
Again, this is data collection and research, and all political campaigns do this now. It's the 21st century.
Yeah. So the Facebook data was integral. I just want to get it straight. Integral to Cambridge Analytica, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was the basis of the first set of algorithms that the company built.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so listen, according to the FEC reports the Trump campaign paid Cambridge Analytica nearly $6 million. This is between July 2016 and December of 2016.
$6 million, and you act like it's a lot of money in relation to this. How much? Hillary had like $1 billion at her disposal, and she spent a buttload of money, and she still lost.
What did the Trump campaign think Cambridge could offer? What were their goals? Do you know?
Voter research to help them win the election? Yeah.
Well, very soon after I left, I know that Alexander Nix was going and meeting with Corey Lewandowski in the spring of 2015 before Trump had even announced that he was running.
Yet again, prep work for the election. There's no crime in it. Everyone should do it. He didn't just come down that elevator one day and say, guess what, I'm running for president. He prepared ahead of time.
Well, let me put it this way. I'm probably the only gay guy in London that had a membership card to a strip club with women.
Meaning?
Meaning that this was a common technique that the company used. That I would be at strip clubs all the time.
I need you to be more specific. You said you were the only gay guy in London with a membership to a strip club. What do you mean by that? Be more explicit.
Are you a pitcher or a catcher? Somebody's got to be catching.
One of the things that this company does is it will do whatever it takes to get a contract, and if that means entertaining a client at a strip club with women stripping, they will do that.
Yes, believe it or not, men are pigs. And when other businessmen come from other countries, they probably hook them up with some mature sexual entertainment.
Do you think, Christopher, that the Trump campaign did anything nefarious in this, or were all these bad actions by Cambridge?
I can't speculate as to what the Trump campaign was doing because I didn't work on the Trump campaign.
Punked.
Well, they said that they've asked Cambridge Analytica and also you to agree to an audit. Have you agreed?
Oh, but an audit of what? What, my phone? It's not like I have a massive server farm. I'm just a guy. Like, what do they want to audit? And why? I don't understand. Like, what? They want to look at my phone. Mm-hmm. Like, they haven't explained to me what that is. And I don't get, like, what is it that they want to do?
Yeah.
Such a good witness to the malfeasance of the Trump administration.
I don't know.
I'm the person coming forward. I'm the one telling people that this program has happened. So I don't understand, why it is that they need to do this. We agreed last week with their lawyers that we would sit down and collaborate on this.
So you agreed to collusion. You're colluding. Don't you know that's illegal?
Facebook's only doing something now because I'm coming out and speaking out. They didn't do, it's only, so for them to turn around and try to punish me, I think, I just don't think it's right. This is not how whistleblowers should be treated.
Then again, you're not much of a whistleblower, are you?
I want to get to it, and I understand that you're very upset, and rightfully so, because you feel like you're personally you have been sort of violated in some way, or that you're being punished for no reason. What do you think is going on?
I don't know. I mean, I know what I know, and what I know is that this is a company that was talking with Russia.
Why would you say they were talking to Russia? Do you have any proof for that? Or is the Russian connection the only thing that got you on television?
I know that this was a company that was using a professor that was going back and forth to Russia.
Again, why would you say Russia, girlfriend?
Working on Russian programs as he was harvesting the data of over 50 million Americans.
50 million of over 350 million, it's just not enough to win an election.
I know that this is a company that works in disinformation. I know that this is a company that, willingly admits to pitching, prostitutes and compromat, as was revealed by Channel 4 tonight.
We've been going about this all wrong. This Mr. Stay Puft is okay. He's a sailor. He's in New York. We get this guy laid, we won't have any trouble. I know that this is a company that was meeting with Donald Trump's campaign team before Donald Trump had even announced, despite the fact that they deny that. I think that when you look at everything, a lot of questions get raised. I have a lot of those questions myself, and what I'm trying to do is put out information and let you guys ask those questions and have this company answer them.
Do you think the information that you helped to create influenced the 2016 election?
I think it must have played some role. I can't say for sure, is this something that won it for Trump or a particular candidate? It's sort of impossible to guess, but I think absolutely it played a role.
Thank you.
Cheers.
By looking at Don Lemon's face, he just has this look like this was a freaking waste of time. Why did I even do this? So there you have it. It turned out to be a bunch of nothing. Every political campaign in the modern era does research. They research the voters, they do Oppo research, and they do everything they can to win the political office that they're trying for. And President Trump did it. Congratulations, President Trump. This has been Bonnie Doon. Thank you for watching and listening, and please like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, bye.